What if one simple vitamin could make your heart stronger, your arteries more flexible, and your risk of heart disease drop dramatically, all without a prescription? For seniors over 60, there's one nutrient that researchers are calling the miracle vitamin for cardiovascular health. It's not a new drug. It's not a fad. And it could already be in your kitchen. In today's video, we're diving deep into the science of how this powerful vitamin helps prevent arterial calcification, reduce blood pressure, and even protect against strokes and heart attacks. If you want to keep your heart beating strong well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, don't miss this. Because this isn't hype. It's real, proven, and shockingly underused. Let's talk facts. Heart disease remains the #1 killer of older adults. By age 65, nearly 70% of men and 60% of women have some form of cardiovascular issue, from high blood pressure to clogged arteries. But what if the root of the problem wasn't just fat or sugar, but something you're missing? That missing link is vitamin K2. Unlike the more familiar K1, which helps blood clot, K2 has a very different role. It activates proteins that guide calcium where it belongs, into your bones and teeth, and away from your arteries. Without enough K2, calcium can build up in your blood vessels, leading to stiff arteries, higher blood pressure, and increased risk of heart attack or stroke. Recent studies from journals like Circulation and Thrombosis Research show that seniors with higher vitamin K2 levels have up to 57% lower risk of dying from heart-related causes. That's huge. And yet, K2 is not found in most multivitamins. It's not even included in most calcium or D3 supplements. And here's the kicker. If you're already taking calcium or vitamin D without K2, you could actually be making the problem worse, driving calcium into your arteries instead of your bones. This isn't just theory. It's been shown in human studies. And the good news is, fixing the problem is simple. Let's see how. Let's break this down further. Imagine your bloodstream is a busy highway. Calcium is one of the most essential passengers, necessary for muscle contractions, nerve signaling, and bone health. But when calcium gets off at the wrong exits, like your arterial walls, it becomes dangerous. It hardens the arteries, narrows the passageways, and puts pressure on your heart. This is where vitamin K2 steps in. K2 activates proteins like matrix GLA protein, MGP, and osteocalcin, which direct calcium to the right destinations. MGP sweeps calcium away from soft tissues, especially the arteries, while osteocalcin helps bind it into bones. Without sufficient K2, these proteins stay inactive like workers without tools. The result? Calcium ends up where it shouldn't, contributing to atherosclerosis, arterial stiffness, and higher stroke and heart attack risks. Studies back this up. One major study published in the Journal of Nutrition followed over 4,800 participants and found that those with the highest K2 intake had a 50% lower risk of dying from heart disease. Another study showed that vitamin K2 not only prevents further calcification, but can also help reverse existing deposits in some cases. What's more, K2 also reduces chronic inflammation, a key driver of heart disease. And it does all this without affecting your blood's ability to clot, unlike blood-thinning medications. Now, here's what's truly concerning. About 70 to 90% of older adults may not be getting enough K2. The average Western diet simply doesn't include fermented foods rich in K2. And even when it does, absorption declines with age. So your body may not be activating those artery-protecting proteins effectively anymore. The good news? Boosting your K2 intake is simple once you know where to look, and doing so could drastically improve your cardiovascular health, mobility, and even cognitive function. So how can you actually increase your vitamin K2 levels in a safe and effective way? Let's look at both natural food sources and supplementation. First, fermented foods are the richest dietary sources. Natto, the Japanese soybean dish, contains the highest concentration of K2 in the form of -7 Malawian kwaches. Just 1 tablespoon of natto can give you more than your daily requirement. However, natto's strong smell and slimy texture can be a turn-off. Other decent sources include aged cheeses like Gouda and Edam, egg yolks, butter from grass-fed cows, and certain meats like chicken liver. Still, for most seniors, getting enough K2 through food alone can be tough, especially if you have dietary restrictions or simply don't eat those foods regularly. That's where supplements come in. When choosing a supplement, look for vitamin K2 in the -7 Malawian kwaches form, which has a longer half-life in the body and stays active in your bloodstream for longer periods than -4 Malawian kwaches. Research suggests that 100 to 200 micrograms of -7 Malawian kwaches daily is effective for reducing arterial calcification and improving bone density. It's also worth noting that K2 works synergistically with vitamin D3. Vitamin D helps you absorb calcium, and K2 ensures it gets deposited in the right places. Without enough K2, taking D3 alone may actually increase the risk of arterial calcification. Also, consider pairing K2 with magnesium and a balanced intake of healthy fats, as it's a fat-soluble vitamin. Taking it with your main meal can enhance absorption. And before you start any new supplement, always consult your doctor, especially if you're on blood thinners like warfarin. Although K2 doesn't have the same clotting effects as K1, it's still important to monitor interactions. Adding K2 into your daily routine is simple, safe, and surprisingly affordable. And it may offer benefits beyond heart health, including improved bone strength, reduced joint pain, and better metabolic function. The best part? It's not a gimmick or a fad. It's backed by real science and decades of research. Let's move on to how to make this habit stick in your routine. Let's say you're ready to start boosting your vitamin K2 levels. What's the best way to make it part of your day? Here's a simple morning routine that ensures you get the most out of your K2 intake. Start your day with a heart-healthy breakfast, scrambled eggs cooked in grass-fed butter, a slice of aged cheese like Gouda, and a side of leafy greens drizzled with olive oil. This meal is rich in K2, D3, if you include a supplement, and healthy fats to aid absorption. Take your K2 supplement with food. As a fat-soluble vitamin, it needs dietary fat to be absorbed properly. Pairing it with your breakfast ensures better uptake. Add movement. Go for a short walk or do 10 to 15 minutes of light stretching. Exercise boosts blood flow, which helps transport the vitamin throughout your system more efficiently. Stay consistent. Set a daily alarm or take your K2 supplement at the same time as another routine, like brushing your teeth, so you don't forget. Track your progress. After a few weeks, you may notice benefits like improved energy, reduced leg cramps, often linked to calcium imbalance, and possibly better blood pressure control. Creating this habit doesn't require drastic lifestyle changes. Just simple, consistent steps that build over time. And the payoff? A stronger heart, better bones, and a much lower risk of the chronic diseases that often sneak up after 60. So how do you know if you're already deficient in vitamin K2? The symptoms can be subtle at first, which makes this deficiency easy to overlook. But over time, the effects begin to show in your cardiovascular system, bones, and even your energy levels. Common signs include frequent leg cramps, muscle stiffness, easy bruising, and chronic fatigue. You may also notice that wounds take longer to heal, or that you're experiencing more joint pain than usual, especially in the knees or hips. But the most dangerous effects are silent. Calcium buildup in arteries doesn't cause pain until it's advanced. Many seniors don't find out they have arterial calcification until they suffer a major cardiovascular event, like a heart attack or stroke. That's why prevention is key. Doctors can detect calcification through coronary artery calcium, CAC, scoring, a non-invasive CT scan that measures the amount of hardened plaque in your arteries. If your score is high, it means calcium is being deposited in places it shouldn't, and K2 could be the missing factor. Bone loss is another big clue. If you've been diagnosed with osteopenia or osteoporosis, your body likely isn't using calcium efficiently. Instead of strengthening bones, the calcium may be floating freely in your bloodstream and ending up in your soft tissues. That's the exact problem K2 helps solve. Some blood tests can assess vitamin K levels, but they're not always accurate because K2 is fat-soluble and stored in the liver and tissues. Instead of waiting for symptoms to escalate or for hard-to-interpret lab results, many healthcare providers now recommend K2 supplementation based on risk factors alone, especially for seniors with heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, or a family history of cardiovascular problems. Being proactive doesn't just protect your heart. It also supports stronger bones, fewer fractures, better balance, and even better cognition. That's because circulation and bone health are closely linked to brain function. When your arteries are flexible and unblocked, your brain gets the oxygen and nutrients it needs to stay sharp. By paying attention to the early signs, getting appropriate screening, and building healthy habits around K2, you're not just extending your life, you're improving the quality of your years. Let's look at the fascinating science behind how K2 actively transforms your cardiovascular health, and why it works even better when paired with a few other key nutrients. Vitamin K2 doesn't act alone. Its power comes from how it interacts with other systems in the body, especially calcium metabolism, vitamin D, and magnesium. Think of it like this. Vitamin D is the gatekeeper that allows calcium into the bloodstream. Magnesium helps regulate its use, and K2 directs traffic, making sure it gets into bones and out of arteries. When K2 is missing, this process breaks down. Calcium floods the system without direction, and the result is dangerous deposits in soft tissues. That's why taking a high-dose D3 supplement without adequate K2 can backfire. Some studies have shown that D3 supplementation alone can increase arterial stiffness if K2 levels are low. But when combined, D3 and K2 form a powerful heart protective duo. In one 3-year clinical trial from the Netherlands, postmenopausal women who took 180 micrograms of K2 daily showed a significant decrease in arterial stiffness compared to the placebo group. The effect was especially strong in women with already stiffened arteries, meaning K2 didn't just slow the decline. It actually helped reverse damage. Another impressive study from Rotterdam tracked 4,800 people over 10 years. It found that those who consumed the most K2 had significantly fewer deaths from heart disease and a 52% reduced risk of severe arterial calcification. And this wasn't some experimental supplement, it was just from dietary sources like cheese and fermented foods. Magnesium also deserves a spotlight. It helps activate hundreds of enzymes, including those that regulate heart rhythm and blood vessel tone. Magnesium helps prevent calcium from crystallizing in the arteries, which reduces the formation of plaque. And like K2, magnesium deficiencies are incredibly common in older adults. You can think of magnesium as the assistant to K2's traffic cop, helping keep calcium soluble and mobile until it reaches the bones. Together, they reduce your risk of calcification, arterial stiffness, and hypertension. Omega-3 3 fatty acids also complement K2's cardiovascular benefits. Found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, omega-3s help reduce triglycerides, stabilize heart rhythms, and reduce inflammation in the blood vessels. Combining K2 with a heart-healthy diet rich in omega-3s amplifies the results and supports overall cardiovascular function. Here's the takeaway. You don't need to rely solely on supplements. A smart, nutrient-dense diet can supply your body with much of what it needs, especially when you're strategic. Incorporate aged cheeses for K2, leafy greens for K1, oily fish for omega-3s, nuts and seeds for magnesium, and moderate sun exposure or D3 supplements for vitamin D. The synergy between these nutrients is one of the best-kept secrets in senior health. And the best part? There are very few side effects. These are naturally occurring compounds your body already uses. You're just giving it the tools it needs to thrive. Especially as the aging process slows down nutrient absorption and efficiency. If you're aiming to prevent cardiovascular issues, support bone density, and reduce inflammation, K2 and its nutritional allies are some of the most effective, affordable, and sustainable tools available. They're not magic pills. They're time-tested, evidence-backed, and body-compatible. By embracing this nutritional strategy, you're doing more than preventing disease. You're actively restoring balance, flexibility, and resilience to your cardiovascular system. And for seniors over 60, that could be the difference between living cautiously and living vibrantly. Now that you know how powerful vitamin K2 can be, how do you make sure this becomes a lasting part of your lifestyle? The key is consistency. Most of the benefits of K2 come with regular, long-term use, not a one-time megadose. Make it a daily habit, just like brushing your teeth or taking your morning walk. Attach it to a routine you already have, like taking it with breakfast or right after your coffee. Meal planning also helps. If you know you'll be eating eggs, cheese, or leafy greens, that's a good opportunity to pair your K2 supplement for optimal absorption. Keep your K2 supplement in a visible spot so you don't forget, like next to your toothbrush or coffee maker. Involve your support system. If you live with a partner or caregiver, encourage them to join you in this health shift. Sharing the goal makes it easier to stay committed, and they'll benefit from the change, too. Finally, celebrate the small wins. Better energy, fewer aches, stronger nails or bones. All these are signs that your body is responding positively. And over time, these add up to something big. A healthier, stronger heart that can carry you through the years with strength and grace. As you build this daily habit, it's helpful to think beyond just your heart. Vitamin K2 has ripple effects throughout your entire body, especially when it comes to aging gracefully. For example, maintaining mobility is one of the biggest challenges seniors face. Joint stiffness, bone fragility, and muscle weakness all contribute to falls, which can be life-altering after 60. Because K2 supports bone mineralization and keeps calcium where it belongs, it helps reinforce your skeletal structure. That means stronger bones, more confident movement, and less fear of injury. K2's anti-inflammatory properties may also help reduce joint discomfort. While it's not a cure for arthritis, many seniors report better flexibility and fewer aches after consistently improving their K2 intake. And since chronic inflammation plays a role in nearly every age-related disease, from diabetes to Alzheimer's, reducing it gives your entire system a better chance to thrive. There's also an emerging link between K2 and brain health. Studies have found that people with higher K2 levels tend to have better cognitive function. It could be due to improved blood flow, less vascular damage, and a healthier metabolic profile overall. Though more research is needed, early findings are promising. especially for those looking to protect memory and clarity in later years. One more often overlooked benefit: dental health. Osteocalcin, the same protein K2 activates to strengthen bones, also helps repair enamel and maintain healthy teeth. Seniors often deal with gum issues, loose teeth, or jawbone loss. While brushing and flossing are vital, internal nutrition like K2 can make your dental visits more successful and less painful. So while we started this journey with the heart, it turns out K2 is supporting your body from head to toe. It's the kind of quiet, consistent help your aging body deeply appreciates, and the results show up in your strength, resilience, and confidence every single day. If there's one message you take away from this, let it be this: vitamin K2 is not just another supplement on the shelf. It's a foundational piece of your long-term health. You don't need a radical lifestyle overhaul. You don't need to adopt strange diets or spend a fortune. You simply need to give your body what it's quietly been missing all these years, and let nature do the rest. Thousands of seniors are already seeing the difference. Fewer leg cramps, more stable blood pressure, better balance, and most importantly, renewed peace of mind that their heart is stronger and better protected. Whether you're 60, 70, or even in your 80s, it's never too late to make a powerful change. Your arteries may already have some damage, but with the right support, your body still has the wisdom and ability to repair. Vitamin K2 gives you that chance. So what can you do today? Start simple. Check your current multivitamin. Does it contain K2? If not, consider adding a -7 Malawian kwacha supplement to your routine. Look for trusted brands, ideally with third-party testing. Stick to a dosage between 100 and 200 micrograms per day unless your doctor advises otherwise. Next, rethink your grocery list. Add in a few K2-rich foods. Even small amounts make a difference. A wedge of aged cheese with lunch, eggs for breakfast, or butter from grass-fed cows can gently elevate your levels over time. Share this knowledge with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, or a friend, especially if they're also over 60. You could be giving them the gift of extra years, more energy, and stronger bones. Small steps, big impact. Your heart, your bones, and your brain will thank you, not just today, but for years to come. You've made it to the end, and now you know the truth. This miracle vitamin could be the missing piece your heart has been waiting for. Vitamin K2 isn't hype, it's healing. It works with your body, not against it, and it offers something most medications can't: long-term protection without side effects, dependency, or high costs. You have the knowledge, you have the tools, and most importantly, you have the time starting now to take charge of your heart health and age with strength. So don't wait. Talk to your doctor. Choose your supplement. Adjust your meals. And make K2 part of your daily rhythm. Because you deserve a heart that's strong, flexible, and ready for the road ahead. Thanks for watching, and here's to a longer, healthier, and stronger life.